Hello everyone, Chocolo Roberto here for another video review. I don't really need to bring this much closer, but this is M&S milk chocolate cookie dough bites. Yes, it's in there. Just bring it a bit closer so you can see. So it's got the typical M&S steampunk shenanigans going on here. You see a lot of machinery and steam coming off it. Some kind of mine cart there with the cookie dough bite itself on the top, so that's kind of what you're getting. It's funny design, a bit like the other one, which I just reviewed, which was the popping candy popcorn and chocolate pretzels. But this one's got like a sort of red metallic bag. Yeah, basically, this is an M&S product. It's Marks and Spencer for those who don't know, and it's basically it's a retailer that sells clothes and things, but they also have a subsidiary sort of grocery shop thing, like a mini supermarket in a way. It sells obviously food and higher end goods, and one of which is this, which I spotted as I was wandering through. I'm a big fan of Ben & Jerry's cookie dough ice cream. It's probably one of my favourite flavours, although it does need a bit more cookie dough in it, I think, here in the UK. They seem to have reduced it somewhat, or at least that's the impression I get. So I thought this would be right up my street, basically. Yeah, so quite a nice bag, but you can see, again, there's, so really the bag doesn't really indicate how much you get in there as such. I don't know if it's cheating or not, this really, because I can kind of understand why you have a big bag, because they are all squished at the bottom here. But there's a lot less than you perhaps might think. Right, so calorie wise, well, on the other one, before I forget, they did have a sort of a flag on it saying this was UK ingredients or something, or some kind of UK gimmick, British chocolate or something, but this doesn't have it on this one. Yeah, so for that's worth. Okay, right, so yeah, so this video it gives you per 100 grams on the back, and it's 140 gram bag. So really, you would need to add about 40% onto these values. So we've got 484 calories per 100 grams. So well, 10% of that is 48. So let's just call it 50 times 4. So it's 200. So it's about 192 calories on top of that. Is that right? Yeah, 40% on. So seems a bit steep, but yeah, I think that's probably about right. So basically adding another 192 calories onto that, so it's 676 calories for the bag. So it's quite high. There's a 140 gram bag though, so there you go. Fats 23.6 grams in 100 grams, so again adding 40%, so 2.3 is 10%, so 8.9, 9.2 onto that, so it's basically 22.8 grams of fat. No, sorry, 32.8 grams of fat. So quite high again. Saturates is 40.1 in 100 grams, so again add 40%, 1.4, so 2.8 times 2, 5.6 grams roughly on there. So you're talking 19.7 roughly grams of fat. Also, I don't think you'd really eat the whole bag of this really in one go to make comparable, or whatever the word is, to other chocolate you would normally have. So yeah, it's up to you. It's probably a sharing bag really, or something for the cinema or something like that. But anyway, why they can't just give you it per bag or per, I don't know, yeah, per bag really, or per so many, I don't know really, typical sort of selection of bites, I don't know, but that's the gist of it. So you kind of have to do a bit of maths to work it out. So yeah, so let's give it an open then, okay, before we get too sidetracked in the minutiae of nonsense. So yeah, it does have a resealable bag. It's kind of a weird Velcro affair going on. I can kind of see. So you can see there's like a sort of white stripe at the top of the bag. It's basically Velcro. There's one on either side. So there's one on that side as well. Basically it's just Velcro. So yeah, so maybe a clever Velcro so it doesn't get stuff stuck on it. But okay, so let's tip them out. See what we get. So there. So I'm not bowled over by the amount we get. I mean, they're very big these spheres, they're very big, you know. Let's have a look. So 5, 10, 15. So you get 16 balls in there. Yeah, all of varying size, you know. So you've got like this is probably a smaller one. This is a bigger one. So there you go. So they do vary in size, but they're roughly about this size. Whatever. Obviously that means nothing to you, but let's see, roughly 2.5 diameter, 2.5 centimeters, so roughly. Yeah, okay. So there we go. Yeah, you know, look all right. I'll give you a close up again. So you can see that they've kind of got like little dark spots in the chocolate. So I don't quite know what that is. I'm assuming, I don't know what that is, really. It says milk chocolate and dark biscuit crumb with a soft white chocolate and biscuit filling. So that's probably the dark biscuit crumb, I guess. Really, maybe it's a little crunchy bit, I don't know. So let's give one an open then, shall we? We've got a little extra one here, so why not? It's a sacrificial lamb for us. Okay, right. Okay. So there we go. So yes, you see it's quite a thick layer of chocolate, quite a soft cookie dough. We should expect some kind of, I think that's probably dark biscuit crumb centre there. I don't know really. Yeah, the packaging, you can see that does have like a sort of centre there, 2 dots in the centre of the thing. This one has 1 dot. Maybe there's just a few of them throughout it. So a very thick layer of chocolate. You can see how thick that layer of chocolate is. It's very thick around the cookie dough. Each chunk of cookie dough looks a bit like it's probably a bit bigger than the ones you get in Ben & Jerry's. So they're quite big. It's quite a substantial piece of chocolate. So they are quite big chunks. They're bigger than Maltesers, you know. Okay, well, let's give one a go. Well, it definitely tastes like cookie dough. I'll say it tastes loads of the chocolate. There's little crunchy bits though in there, which is obviously the dark biscuit crumb or whatever. Which by dark biscuit I'm assuming means something like an Oreo type biscuit. But you can't really taste that. I mean, just taste the cookie dough, and it's got that sort of sickly sweet cookie dough taste, which is nice. But I would say they're perhaps a bit too big, really. I don't know. Well, I don't know if they're too big or not. You don't really taste the chocolate though around the edge. I mean, you really don't. It kind of, maybe you subtly do, but I won't say I get a massive chocolate taste as I eat these. I just bit half of it. Yeah, chocolate's quite subtle. It sort of melts. It is there if you look for it. It's sort of like melting. It's kind of there at the sidelines while you're tasting all the way. You have the sweet over the majority taste of the cookie dough. I'll say the crispy bits are quite nice. I quite like those little crunchy bits you get. Gives you a bit more of a texture than just soft cookie dough. Now for me, I like this, but for me, I don't know if it's because my background because in the UK, for the most part, as far as I'm aware, cookie dough isn't a big thing. I think it's very much come over from the US, so we're not used to having slabs of cookie dough and eating it or whatever. And I don't really know how you get cookie dough, really, or how it comes about, but it's not generally something you'd eat. So, you know, for me, cookie dough. I mean, to go long story short, I think it needs ice cream with these. You know, I think it just doesn't seem right to be eaten on their own. They seem a bit too sweet. You know, it needs something else. The chocolate doesn't really give you enough to sort of temper that sweetness, if you know what I mean. Not to say, I mean, obviously caramel's quite sweet, but I don't know, because of the texture and the way it is, or the way you're chewing it or whatever, I don't know. the sweetness is not quite as sharp or as sickly sweet, I guess, as these generally. I mean, maybe fudge is quite sweet like that, but generally, again, fudge you eat the whole cube at once, generally, whatever, you know. Not sure, but for me, I don't know, I think these are very nice, and I think other people think differently, really. I think it's just my taste, generally. But I think well, they're a bit too big as well, I think, for me as well. I think these should be, you know, they should be half the size. You should get double the quantity, but half the size, I think, for me. You know, yeah. I think, anyway, I'm not sure, but I think so. And I think, because I think if I did introduce these to ice cream, I'd probably want them to be half the size. Well, I'd have to slice them in half or something and then add them that way. But yeah, I think for me, yeah, with ice cream, like if you had a boring vanilla ice cream or something and you needed to spruce it up a bit, you know, cut these in half, throw them in. I think you'd have a wonderful experience, actually. I really do. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think they kind of work like this. I don't know. For me anyway. I think these belong with something else. I think, and I think M&S have tried to make that. I think they've realised that. Perhaps in UK markets, I don't know. I think they have realised it, and they've tried to counter that by doing very thick chocolate, also the crunchy biscuit pieces in there. But the chocolate, but it's still overwhelmingly cookie dough. You know, it's such a sickly sweet taste, and they're quite big chunks of cookie dough. They haven't quite pulled it off, and the chocolate's very fleeting. It's not. You know, you still get left with the cookie dough. So, yeah, I think for me, it needs to be with ice cream to counter that strong cookie dough flavour and to give you something else on the side. And I think what with the cookie dough and what with the chocolate, and the crunchy biscuit pieces, I think this with ice cream might be absolutely amazing. Also, I think you'd have to cut these in half. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love big quantities of things. You know, I'm very much, you know, I if I have some Ben & Jerry's, I'll eat the whole tub, you know. I'm not against big portions, but I just think it's just too big of something, you know, you get too much of it at once, and it's a bit, it doesn't do it any favours because it's quite sickly. Yeah. But you know, I think another company, not M&S, would have done very small ones for cost purposes. You know, whereas M&S have obviously thought, well, you know, we can, you know, we're a high quality retailer, we can, you know, we can push the boat out, but I just think in this case it's just not really worked. I don't know. I feel like M&S, because what were the chocolate covered pretzel ones? I think they need someone. I don't think they have anyone. They probably have someone who does their taste testing who's a bit too poncy. Is the gist of it. I think they need someone who really understands just chocolate at its simplest form, about what's actually nice and what works. And you know, you don't need someone who's got a degree in chocolate. You know, you need someone who actually knows what they're talking about. And I think they don't have that. I think they've got someone. I don't know. I don't know that it's. You know, I can kind of see that they've got someone who's designing these things who's perhaps. I don't know. I remember seeing a car program the other week, and you know, you have Ferraris and a sort of, you know, they're not very practical, you know, and you've got these other sports cars. You got like a Ferrari, I don't know, Testarossa or something, and it's got a lovely sounding name, and it's very passionate sounding, you know. And then you've got, like, let's say, the McLaren MP423-7.2, and it's a brilliant car on paper, you know, and you probably would be, you know, but clearly the people who designed both of them are sort of very different people, you know. And I think in a car it might work, but I think in chocolate it's you know, it just doesn't work. You know, it's too it's just too clinical. You know, I don't know. It's not practical. Is the gist of it. And for chocolate, that's a big thing, I think. Yeah. Well, hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, it probably didn't, but hopefully you got the gist of it. But yeah, I think overall rating, I'd say probably a 3 out of 5 for me. It's good. You know, I can't say it's less than that, but I don't know. You know, it's a lower 3, if you know what I mean. It's bordering on a high 2 or something. But yeah, I think for me there's improvements to be made, I think. And you don't get loads of them in the pack either, so yeah. But again, that's because of the size, I think. Okay, I'll get some ice cream out, cut these in half, throw them together, and you're sorted, I think. But hopefully M&S will perhaps release these in half the size with double the amount. and solve everyone's problems. Okay, guys, hope you like that video. Take care. Subscribe, like me on, follow me on Twitter, and like my videos, and or dislike them. You know the drill. Get in touch, and I'll see you next time. Okay, guys, take care. Bye for now. See ya.